Something I don't do enough of is kind of analysis after a camp. And the weekend away was not just a hike. The fact was, it was a weekend away that we do once a year called the Fab Four Head West. This usually means we head off along the Atlantic coast of Ireland and set up for 2 days on a beach somewhere. Somehow Cronin's Yard became the focus of this year's adventure, and with it came the hike up Ireland's highest mountain. To say I wasn't in great shape is an understatement. I was probably in the worst shape of my life for such an undertaking. If I'm really honest, I was dreading the climb by the morning, but some part of me also wanted to see how bad I was. There were two other priorities on the cards: the not a Yeti box and a new tent, and the highest priority of all was making sure Mrs. Hobbles was warm and comfortable. Add to this a new tent, it all becomes a difficult story to translate and capture, because the reality was I was there to relax, and those with me are not subject to the filming while trying to relax. So let's start with the not a Yeti box. I've never owned a premium cooler. Not to slag off Yeti, but Yeti is... what's the word for it? You can trust it. Yeah, that's what you're buying when you buy Yeti or you buy some other expensive brand. You're buying a solution. Yeah, I wasn't trying to say, can I make it better? Can I do this with a box made for keeping food warm for a day? And that's where this box came from. It wasn't glamorous. It wasn't expensive. It wasn't fashionable. It was simply a budget cooler that deserved the chance. And the thought was, could a modest cooler or heater box with a little understanding of heat and insulation perform well enough for the average camping trip? And there was only one way to find out. The experiment itself was, the modifications were pretty simple. The interior was coated with emergency blanket. Rubber feet lifted it away from the warm ground, reducing heat conduction through the base. The reflective aluminium coating is applied, and while the liner itself isn't a vacuum flask, it is designed to slow heat transfer efficiently. So cold is something you store. Many people fill coolers with bags of ice or loose ice, but I chose to do something different. I made some bags of ice, compostable bags with water, with about a pint of water, and then I froze them in the freezer, sealed. The large bags of frozen water take longer to melt than just loose ice, and they occupy less space. I even froze some of the food the night before, so I was counting on the fact that it was going to be like a very slow ticking box. That's what I was hoping to make. I didn't expect to be able to get to a couple of days and still have ice. I really didn't. So I put in 2 additional ice packs. Every empty space was filled with food. Different types of food. I had burgers, rashers. There was butter in there. There was loads of different things. Milk. We started off the weekend with, I think there were 10 bottles of Corona in there, which had just been chilled. They were just chilled in the fridge, in the refrigerator. But anyway, every opportunity for warm air was reduced, and I also threw in an extra foil blanket. So it wasn't just a cooler anymore. It was a bit of an experiment. An experiment is the word I'd use. I tested it prior and found out some interesting things about gold sides of foil versus silver sides. It wasn't perfect, so I added another emergency blanket from a first aid kit as a sort of surround. The real test, laboratory tests mean very little in the mountains or outdoors. The real world is messy. Coolers are opened repeatedly. Friends want drinks. Someone needs milk. Someone else wants butter. Lunch appears. Dinner disappears. The lid never stays closed for very long. Our cooler would spend several days living exactly as any family cooler would. No special treatment, no tricks, just ordinary camping. Anyway, we left for Kerry on Saturday. The cooler sat beside the tent throughout the weekend. It was opened over and over again. Meals came and went. Cold drinks disappeared. Rashers were made. Food remained perfectly chilled, and by Monday something unexpected happened. There was still ice. So Saturday, Sunday, Monday, we still had ice. For a modest cooler that had been opened countless times during a summer camping trip, I considered that a good result. And what did I learn? Did lifting the cooler off the ground help? Probably. Did frozen bags outperform loose ice? Certainly. Could you tell exactly how much each modification contributed? No. But that's perfectly okay, because outdoor life provides imperfect scientific experiments. Sometimes the answer is disappointing. Sometimes nothing changes at all. But occasionally a cheap cooler surprises everyone, including the person who built it. The next part for me, of the experiment was the sleep system. Now, this part, I won't lie, has taken me 30 years to perfect. And I won't say I've perfected it, but I am getting very, very close, because I have the ultimate barometer. A wife test subject. She in herself is an excellent outdoors person, but she still retains the ability to discern a good sleep system. She won't just wake up and go, that was good. She'll only say that was good when it was good. The air mattress that we have started using, this Tri-Nordic 12 centimeter, I'm into year 2 of this mattress, and I feel confident enough to say it's the best mattress for comfort, reliability, and wife outcome. This became evident last year with Mrs. Hobbles popping out of a tent and saying, "Where have these been hiding?" with respect to the mattress. So just prior to this camp, I said I must get a twin so we can be side by side and at the same height. Is it worth explaining what types of situations we have endured in the past, with double mattresses that sagged in the middle and double sleeping bags that left us on the ground? Bless her. She actually trusted me that I could resolve this. I have had situations where I thought she'll never camp with me again, but in fairness, yeah. Anyway, so with these air mattresses, there's these thoughts of dimensions. And here's the thing: the mats were easily combined 20 centimeters bigger than the available space in this tent. And yet they still fit. With a bit of squishing, I did the usual trick of putting an emergency foil blanket under the ground mats. I think we used 2, and individual sleeping bags and house pillows. 3 nights is one thing. 3 nights without aches or pains in the body at 50 years of age, to me, that's something special. Simple but effective, and I'm not ashamed to admit I used a powered inflator for the mats, even though you could probably inflate them by hand. The tent is new. It will be tested more. The Respite 2 from Highlander, it has these invisible guy lines that keep you safe from someone trying to sneak up on you. The Highlander really have something special here. I mean it. It's a special little tent. The EXT version is a fixed height compared to the Respite 2 non-EXT, with its which is tapered to be taller at the front. I was so cozy. I know the missus was too. But I can't say without more testing what I think about from one camp. All I can talk about are the things that impress me the most. The good ventilation, the easy setup. The porch is just excellent. It's like an airlock on a space station. I could leave things out there and not worry about them. The tent was hot in the morning. Once the sun came up, there was very little you could do but get up. I didn't have to reset the guy lines, but I did have to mark a perimeter around the tent, as the grass and the red lines made the guy lines invisible. There was also a ridge line set up inside the roof. That was like someone doing something nice for you unexpected. We've just used this massive microfiber across all the tents and then squeezing it out, and it's something I've done before, but really worked this time on everything. Like, everything's drying out in 2 or 3 minutes, which is really, really cool. There's a small line of these incense sticks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 of them. And they just change the panic mode, don't they? Yeah. Oh, for me anyway. Fantastic. Now, we're getting to a point of leave no trace. And we're just down to our last incense stick. These are absolutely legendary.